Hello everyone, I'm Haley.
And I'm Kennedy, and this is our presentation on simplifying radicals.
So we're going to learn how to solve radical equations where x squared and x cubed equal a negative number. And also how to work with rational exponents. This is topic 1 where x cubed and x squared equals a negative number. Okay, so in our equation, we're going to be using imaginary numbers. So the negative will drop down to an I for representing imaginary. And then since we have this x squared right here, we're going to square root the 36. So just going to put into your calculator 36, which gives us 6. So you're just going to drop down 6. And then since we have a negative, we have to do a plus or minus in front. This is example number 2 where we have x cubed equals negative 16. So first you need to factor out your 16, which equals 8 and 2. Then that equals 4 and 2, and then 2 and 2. And since the index is 3, you're going to find your groups of 3, which is a 2. So we're going to put that on the outside. And since it's a negative, we're going to just shove the negative out there. And then put our square root sign, and we have a 2 left over. So we put the 2 inside the parentheses, and since our index is 3, we keep the 3. This is example number 3. We have x squared plus 16 equals negative 8. So since this is an equation, we first need to subtract the 16 from both sides, which equals x squared equals negative 24. And now we just have that and that. So we need to do 24, factor this out. And since we're looking for groups of 2, we have one group of 2 2s. And then in the leftover, we have a 3, and then we have a 2. So we're going to do 3 times 2. And then since we have a negative, we will bring down that I. And then inside, since we have only one group of 2, we put a 2. And now we're going to multiply the 3 and the 2 together, which equals 6i. 2. And then since we had a negative, we're going to do plus or minus 2. Topic 2 is going to be solving with rational exponents. Okay, this is example 1, and the first step we're going to do is divide by 2. So we're going to divide this by 2 and divide this by 2, which leaves us with x plus 3 to the 1/3 equals 3. To remove this 1/3, we're going to have an exponent of 3, so 3 and 3 to cancel that out. So then it would be x plus 3 equals 27. The next step would be to subtract 3. So subtract 3 and 3, which leaves us with x equals 24. This is example number 2, and we have 1/2 instead of 1/3. So the first step again is going to be to divide by 4. So divide by 4, which leaves us with x plus 2 to the 1/2 equals 2. To cancel out this, we're going to make it a 2, and then this becomes a 2. So it'd be x plus 2 equals 4, and then the next step would be to subtract 2, so it's minus 2 and minus 2, which leaves us with x equals 2. This is our last example, and the first step is going to be to take this and make it a 2, so we'd have exponent of 2, which leaves us with x plus 2 equals 36, and the next step would be to subtract 2, so minus 2 and minus 2, which leaves us with x equals 34. This is our last example, and the first step is going to be to take this and make it a 2, so we'd have exponent of 2, which leaves us with x plus 2 equals 36, and the next step would be to subtract 2, so minus 2 and minus 2, which leaves us with x equals 34.
This is important vocabulary that you should remember.
What is a radical?
The simple square that represents a root.
What is an index?
A small number outside and to the left of the radical that tells us which root we're taking.
What is a radicand? The number or expression inside the radical sign. What's a coefficient?
The number multiplying the radical. What is a rational exponent?
A fractional exponent that represents a root.
Thank you for watching our presentation on simplifying radicals. Be sure to review your notes, and remember, understanding the vocabulary helps us master the process.